Now we'll have a session between Shahar, co-founder and CEO, Locusview, and HR Dash, DGM, Projects Pipelines, BPCL, on reimagining the future utilities in gas. As an innovative company, BPCL is constantly on the lookout for new technologies to help the company execute world-class pipeline projects quickly and efficiently. Adopting a new solution during COVID was a challenge that BPCL met with careful planning and professionalism, achieving its goal of pipeline digitization. The company chose Locusview for its digital construction management platform as the solution to help BPCL transform manual methods into a digital workflow. Our first speaker for this session is Mr. Shahar. Shahar is the co-founder and CEO of Locusview, a digital construction management company. As a veteran of the Israeli Central Intelligence Research Unit, Shahar was part of a pioneering team that leveraged the use of GPS and mapping technologies into advanced intelligence applications. Our second speaker from this session is Mr. H.R. Dash. Mr. Dash has more than 30 years of experience in the oil and gas industry in the areas of infrastructure engineering, construction, and project management. He has worked in construction of petroleum storage installation, LPG terminals, cryogenic LPG terminals, cross-country pipelines for multi-products, LPG, and crude oil from concept to commissioning.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy and honored to speak here today in front of you. My name is Shahar Levi. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Locusview. And I'm going to speak today a little bit about our company, what we are doing, and how we were able to have a very interesting and relationship and project with BPCL and Mr. Dash specifically. A little bit of a background of Locusview. Locusview is an Israeli-American technology company. We were founded about almost 6 years ago with one goal, a goal to build a technology that will help some of the largest energy utilities in the US to scale their new construction program. As we know, there are a lot of new construction of pipelines, electric grid that are going on now in the US, in India, and also globally. And the goal was to see how can we develop the technology that will help the companies that are doing the actual work to make sure that they can meet their goals in terms of the budget, the timeline, and of course, the safety of the new network. So this is the only thing that we do. We are focusing only on this because we understand that the construction of gas grid, pipelines, or even electric grid is a complex process. There are a lot of stakeholders involved. There are a lot of data that you need to capture and to manage in order to be able to manage this process properly. And our sole goal is to build a technology around it. And this is what we do. We want the technology to be specific, and we'll look at the construction as a whole and build the technology around it and not vice versa. I'm very happy to say that the technology you are going to see today was born after a pretty deep R&D program with GTI. GTI is the American Gas Technology Institute from Chicago. And together with them and together with the largest energy companies in the US, we developed this program, this technology for a few years. And I would say after about almost 4 years of R&D, we deploy our technology. And I would say in less than 3 years, we were able to deploy our technology with more than 20 top players, tier 1 US utilities, mainly on the gas side, both distribution, CGD, as well as transmission high pressure pipeline. Recently, we are starting to see more and more deployment of the electric after we had a really very successful start on the gas side. About a year and a half ago, we felt like our business in the US is growing. We definitely become the dominant player there, and I will call it even the industry standard in terms of technology for construction. And we're starting to look outside of the US. What is the next big market for us? And India came at the top of the list. It's a mix of large investment that are happening now in the country, as well as the need for data, the eagerness, the government of India that is encouraging the use of data, and I know Mr. Dash will talk about it. And usually when we're starting to look at the new country and we prioritize India as the second biggest market for us outside of after the US and the biggest one outside of the US, we usually like to work with the big players in the industry. Why? Because we know that when we will work with them, we will really be able to learn about what we actually need to build and what are the adjustments that we need to have the technology in order to meet the needs for this specific territory. And we were very honored to meet Mr. Dash and BPCL and to work with them on a cross-country project, and we'll talk about it more in a second, and to deploy it through COVID. It wasn't easy. We had a lot of things that we need to do, but through a great cooperation between the teams, we were able to do it, and I think we're in a great stage there. And again, BPCL is our first client. We are very proud of the relationship that we built together. It's really a partnership. When you are looking into getting into a new country, into a new territory, this type of partnership, this ability to speak together, to work through a mutual goal is very important. And we are very happy that we're able to get a partner such as BPCL and Mr. Dash and his team. Just to understand the scale that we are talking about, in less than 3 years, we were able to deploy our technology with more than 5,000 field crews that are using our technology on a daily basis during construction of energy infrastructure. It's a big number, and we were able to do so because of the fact that technology is modern, but also because we understand that the most important thing is the mobile piece, is the field crews. Can they use this technology on a daily basis? Can they use it after a minimal training? This is the only way to be able to take this technology and to get all the benefits that we want to get out of this technology. So our mobile first attitude, our eagerness around user experience is what we're able us to deploy it in large scale. And again, more than 5,000 field crews are using the technology today on a daily basis. We have 5 offices globally. Our main offices are in the US, in downtown Chicago, as well as in Israel, in Tel Aviv. We have office and a company in India now that is taking care of the BPCL project, but also looking into more projects soon, as well as in Australia and Mexico. We have going to have an office very soon in London as well to take care of UK and pretty big deployment that we have there in the near future. In terms of the client, just to understand the client that we are talking about, so pretty big names. We have here Atmos Energy, which is the biggest pure player natural gas distribution company in the US, using the technology with over 80 contractors, 1,200 field crews. You have PG&E, the second largest gas and electric company in the US, using our technology for both electric and gas. We have Pico, Duke Energy, Exelon, really huge names here, and of course BPCL in India, and pretty widespread all across the US. One thing that we are really proud of is not just the fact that we are working with the utilities, with the CGD, with the pipeline companies about the technology, is our ability to build a business model and a technology that can work very well with contractors. As we know, in many cases, 80%, if not 100% of the job, the actual construction, is being held by the contractors themselves. And our ability to build a unique business model, both in terms of the technology, but also on the commercial side, that works for utility, if it's leasing their equipment according to the terms of the agreement that they have with the asset owner and so on, it would have made us very successful, and we have tens of contractors that are using our technology on a daily basis. So usually the way that we'll do it, we will work with the asset owner, companies such as BPCL, define the data model, define the requirements, understand how it's going to work, and then the actual use of the technology in the field might be by contractor, and we have a pretty strong business model to support both what the asset owner needs and what the contractor needs as well. In terms of why you need Locusview and what we have seen in the market, I can tell you that before starting the project with BPCL, we had meetings with, I would say, almost all of the biggest players in India, and we have seen a pretty common trend among most of them. We have, first, of course, new regulation requires more and more data around the asset, the location of the asset. However, still the main method is paper. It's a paper-based data collection. We all understand what it means. It means that it's inaccurate, it gets lost, it's put a compliance risk of you. There is a lack of visibility, and I will let, and Mr. Dash will speak more about it. We do see some companies in India that are more advanced and are using all kind of enterprise extensions, if it's a GIS tools or others, but it's siloed. It usually wouldn't give them what they need in order to get a comprehensive understanding around the construction process. And obviously, if you use paper or you have this type of disconnected tool, it's creating a lot of bottlenecks in reviewing, approving the data. The amount of data that is being collected, captured in the field, it's huge. You will be able to see how much data we were able to collect on the BPCL project in few months, it's crazy. We're talking about tens of thousands of assets and forms. And of course, if you look at COVID and and where we are today, we would like to limit the manpower on site. We want to make sure that the data is being captured automatically in digital format. And of course, this is a big part of, and another strong driver to use the technology. So what Locusview is all about? Locusview is, as I said, focus on construction of linear assets such as gas pipeline, CGD, and electric grids. It's a complete end-to-end digital construction platform that streamlines the entire construction process all the way from the pre-field, the planning phase, when you have the bill of material, you have the permits, you have the design, the drawing, and so on, the actual execution in the field, the as-built, the ability to collect all the data by the field crews themselves during the construction itself without the need for third parties such as surveyors and others, and the closeout, which is generating all the reports, the pipe books, and so we'll talk about it more. And again, the main focus of the technology is on the mobile, on the field crew themselves, because we all understand that if the technology would not be easy to use, then it will be useless. We see many vendors that have tried to come with complicated tools that were designed for the back office users and not the field crews, and this is why they fail. So we are really doing everything that we can in order to make sure that the mobile piece is as easy as possible in order for the field crew themselves to be able to collect this data on their own after a minimal training. What are the key benefits? What we are seeing in the market? Again, it's all based on thousands of field crews that are using the data. We are talking about 70% reduction in project cycle time and 20% reduction in rework. The data is getting in real time to the office. It's being validated in real time. If there is missing data, we know about it. We can fix it while the trench is open, when the field crews are still out there. We're seeing about at least 50% reduction in surveying cost, because again, the field crews themselves can collect a survey level data on their own. We have some companies that remove all the need for third-party surveying services as a whole, and the entire process is done by the field crews themselves. And of course, visibility and compliance. Our main goal is to provide real-time construction visibility, getting them all the information about the material, the joints, the welds, everything for traceability purposes, as well as to make sure that the processes was done according to the procedures and regulation. This entire data is being collected at once, and this is why you can create this type of visibility and validation around the quality of the data. So how the system is worked, we have three main pillars of the system. We have the pre-field phase, which is the phase where we are creating automatically an electronic job package. The job package includes the work order, the bill of material. It can include existing GIS information, permits, and any data that is relevant, is required in order for the field crew to do their job. Then we have the field, which is the heart of the system. It's the main focus of us, is our mobile platform, our ability to provide a solution that the field crew can collect all the data required as part of the construction process, if it's including as-built with high accuracy GPS, sub-foot accuracy, material traceability, personal qualification for the employees that are actually doing the processes in the field, checklist inspections, pressure tests, and so on. This entire data is being visible to the back office users in real time. If there is something missing, if there is data missing, we can see it in real time. We get notification around it, and of course, you can connect the contractor to fix it. And we have more and more capabilities they are building, and this is actually something that we learned a lot with BPCL. What is the level of reports and pipe book and so on that you want to have as part of the process? And this is something that we generate automatically by the system, if it's the pipe book or if it's dashboard, in order to monitor the progress. Once the project is done, once it's approved, this data goes first, of course, we generate automatically all the reports, and the data will be exported to their GIS system, Esri, small board, and so on. It can also be exported for asset management and other systems. We believe that in order for a solution like this to be successful, it needs to be a turnkey solution. When something goes wrong in the field, if it's a software problem, if it's a hardware problem, we want to make sure, or if it's a connectivity issue, we want to make sure that we have one vendor, one phone call to take in order to get it solved. And this is why we really provide this type of turnkey solution, which includes three main elements: hardware, which is the actual field kit that's being used by the field crews themselves, GPS, ruggedized barcode scanner, tablet, and so on. The software, both on mobile and web, and all the managed services, which are actually the glue that connect the hardware and the software in this entire system. It's the ability to provide high accuracy GPS network connectivity, it's the RTK, it's the cloud hosting. We have local service in Mumbai, AWS, so it's all already ready to meet all the requirements in terms of the location of the services and so on. And we have 24/7 help desk, local help desk, if there is anything that comes with it. Just a few words, and I won't take too much of Mr. Dash's presentation or the BPCL. So as I said, we were honored to work with BPCL on this project. We were able to provide them under lease term this entire solution of hardware, software, and managed services. The application was fully customized to meet BPCL needs. And as I said, it was the first time that we have production deployment with India, and we've been working very closely with BPCL in order to understand how to fine-tune and how to customize our application to meet the exact needs of BPCL. We had a requirement gathering process. We had workshop. We were doing it with BPCL, with their contractors, with their consultant, really bringing everyone that we need around the table, to make sure that the application that BPCL will get and will be deployed at the end of the day will meet their exact need. We're talking a pretty massive data that was collected already in the system. Tens of thousands of assets were collected and validated in real time in about, I would say, 6 months process. And another thing that we did, which was unique to BPCL, we had a lot of existing data that was already captured manually in the field prior to Locusview, and we built a specific and unique process for BPCL in order to be able to upload already also existing data in order for them at the end of the day, when they see this entire project, this entire pipeline, cross-country pipeline, to get all the data in one place. And of course, all the data is available for BPCL and hosted locally in Mumbai. So Mr. Dash, I would like to thank you for your confidence in us. And it was an honor to work with you on this project. And I'm looking forward to keep working with you. That's it. This is for I finished my presentation.
So thank you very much for giving BPCL an opportunity to explain ET Group about the benefits that has been done by adopting this new technology. I'll just go ahead with my presentation. I am HR Dash, representing Bharat Petroleum, helping us at DGM projects, taking care of all pipeline projects pan-India, right from concept to commission. So basically, Bharat Petroleum is a public sector company under Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. It is a Maharatna company. The company has got 3 large refineries located at Kochi, Mumbai, and Bina. So we are a Fortune 500 company, ranked 275 Fortune list. Now moving to about this project, which is Bina Panki pipeline, because we see there is a major increase in demand of petroleum product in northeastern part of India. Since we are having a location advantage, putting a Bina refinery, which is located at the central India part, so it is easier for us to feed the market of northern India. So BPCL thought to lay a multi-product oil pipeline from Bina to Kanpur, that is Panki, which is of 355 kilometer and 18-inch diameter. Now coming to the initiative part, as already everybody is aware of, the Digital India movement is been undertaken by Government of India. So looking at that initiative, BPCL also thought let us to move into the digitization of water technology available with us. And currently what is happening is that all the pipeline assets are maintained manually. So in order to move into the digital technology, we are really looking for a good solution, which will be, the transformation should be easy and more fruitful. So looking at this, last year around February, we came in contact with Locusview during just before start of COVID, and they made various presentation with us. And looking at those presentations, we get ourselves convinced that their technology is most suitable for our purpose, which we are looking for. Now coming to the pipeline concept, as such, you can see there are various steps involved for a pipeline construction. It starts with RU grading and survey, then trenching, then stringing, welding, then comes joint coating, then comes pipeline lowering. Then we also, along with the pipeline, we lay dedicated OFC, optical fiber cable, for our data as well as for surveillance purpose, data and video transfer. So then it is, we are laying 2 sets of OFC along the pipeline for the entire route. And then the next activity which is involved is backfilling. Then we go for a tying joint because after every kilometer or at any major crossings which are road rails, we need to give a tying joint because the pipeline is laid through a separate methodology through the different crossings. So then after laying of the entire pipeline, when all the links are joined, all the sections are joined, we do a hydro testing basically to see the integrity of the pipeline. Then since the pipeline passes through mostly through the agricultural land, the land which has been taken from the villagers or the farmers need to be restored to the original self. So that is called RU restoration and handing over this land to the land users or the villagers. So these are the major steps which are involved for a pipeline construction activity. And these are few photographs which generally depicts about the pipeline process, what all it takes, right from RU grading, then called stringing, then trenching, then pipeline welding, then each welding joint is separately coated. We called it field joint coating. Then the pipeline is buried into the trench. We called it lowering. Now, all the process which are involved needs to be checked and thoroughly approved by the consultant we engage, and some of the processes are also cross-checked by our own engineers. So basically for a project, we generate different reports, which is called pipeline handing over report. When the pipeline is handed over to the pipeline laying contractor, we call pipe handover report. Then they string the pipeline. Then we generate another report called stringing report, trenching report. Once the trenching is done, then pipeline welding report is the most important report. Then each welding joint is coated. We call it coating report. Then the pipeline is buried into the ground. We call it lowering report. Then finally a pipe book is made, which gives the summary of all the reports. Now currently, all these reports are manual, hardbound, handwritten reports, and it runs into volume. Now the technology which we wanted to meeting with Locusview, we try to give our expectation, what we want from them. So each pipeline length is of 12 meters. We wanted them to give us a format or a platform or an application will capture minimum all this data. Like for the pipe details should be available, giving a pipe number. Every pipe which we call as an asset has got a unique number. Then every coating which is done, that got as a coating number. Then from which steel heat the pipe is made of, it also contains a number. Then what is the pipeline thickness, and of course what is the grade of the pipeline. Then comes stringing and trenching report. We want trench depth, what is the width of the trench and the length, of course. Then comes the welding report, welding joint number, what is that joint number actually to trace in future, suppose in case of we want to carry out some maintenance. Then what is the chainage of that welding joint. Then welding details, which are all the qualified welders who really welded the joint, because for a welding, one single joint is completed by 6 numbers of welders, if you see, for the various runs. Then all the welders needs to be mapped to the each welding joint, who all carried out the welding. Then we carry out a radiography, X-ray joint, shows the quality of the weld and longevity or life of the weld. Then comes the lowering, what is the chainage, pre and post padding involved. Suppose there is a rocky terrain, we need to go for pre-padding with soft material, and above the pipe also we go for a soft padding. Then what is the cover, pipe cover, which is a mandatory requirement as per the statutory bodies, which is being monitored, and later on it is physically checked by the statutory body when they give a clearance for operating the pipe. So it is quite vital. Then after 1 kilometer or every crossings, we do a tying joint. Again, the tying joint should have what is the joint number, length, and what is the chainage of the joint, and welding, what are that welding number contains, that is what is the welding joint number, chainage, again welder details, and what is the radiography, and what is the result of the radiography, acceptable, not acceptable, or what is the defect in that radiography. needs to be elaborated in that report. And as already explained by Mr. Shahar about the field instrument, which he has provided us with a handheld GPS and a barcode scanner and a tablet, the solution is capable of collecting all the reports in the field right way. And each and every report is date and time stamped. You can locate where the report has been prepared, whether in the pipeline, near the pipeline in the field, or in the back office of the contractor or consultant. That is very vital in the current previous manual system. We have been observing the reports are delayed and they are bunched up. They are not made every day. They are bunched up, and in weeks time or 3-4 days they start preparing the report. Generally lost its very much purpose of making a report. Then updating, then each report is, that is the benefit of this, one of the major benefit which I am going to talk in my next slide. So it captures the GPS coordinate of each and every well joint, each and every pipe. Then these data updated, what all data is operated, they have prepared a pre-filled format in which only you have to give the minimum data which needs to be filled up. So which is done very easily, and all this pipeline laying contractor, they are trained in this, and they are able to complete this data very minimum. And this data again after completion, it goes for approval by the consultant or by BPCL. Once the data is approved, and along with there is a provision also, we can attach a photograph of that location, what is happening there, and with the report. So finally, once the data is approved, this get uploaded to the server, and that is populated, and the person sitting at the back office can see what is happening in the field. This is in nutshell. This is the this is the basic process which is involved in this data collection. Now coming to the benefits, the difference now earlier and now in the manual process and the digital process. In manual process, each and every report, all these pipe number, heat numbers, coating number has to be written in each and every report. It is a repetition of the process and consumes lot many time. And in current scenario, these data are pre-filled only. And since we have a barcode scanner, by scanning the pipe which is having a barcode, these data get automatically transferred to the server or to the tablet. So this, which is really accurate, and if somebody is entering manually, there is a likely chance of manual mistakes happen. So this data which you are capturing is a errorless data. Then GPS coordinates are entered manually. Somebody has to go with the DGPS and to tell this is the coordinate, northing eastern coordinate. Somebody has to note down. Noting down again, doing manually, get some wrong data may get captured. Now here with the high accuracy GPS is transfer the GPS coordinates seamlessly to the tablet. That is the major benefit, major advantage, because locating an asset more accurately at a later date while carrying out maintenance is more important. So this is a more valid advantage available in this software. Then sometimes what happens, the repetition of data happens, multiple data somebody enters and it get unnoticed. But in this case, the system checks whether there is any duplication of data. Here, there are multiple data. Data has many reports are in the manual system has to be repeated and interconnected while preparing a pipe book. Pipe book is basically to facilitate to see the reports at one page. So now in the new system, data or what all data has been captured, it automatically transfers to the pipe book with a single command. Once the data is approved, verified, it automatically transfers. So there is no manual intervention while doing this activity. So then the major activity for monitoring of pipeline progress or construction progress, the contractor needs to send us a daily progress report, and we are totally dependent on him to know what is happening in the field. Now, the new system gives us ability to get it on the which is available in the dashboard automatically, and we are not at all dependent on the contractor. Unless he sends, we are able to see. So it is a self-sufficient system, and we can very much see what is the problem, why the some activity is lagging, why something is not moving, and we can take the corrective measures. Next is the pipe book. I already told you it is a seamless system available. Seamlessly it get generated the system by click of a button. Now the most important thing happens after completion of the projects. Once the project is complete, compiling all the data and closing out the project is a troublesome and is really a painful currently as far as manual system is. Now, in this new system, the system has the capability, once we say all the reports are approved and fine and correctness, entire data is ready within 15 days. So in a manual system, which took around 2 to 3 months, now in the new system, it is getting ready within 15 days. That is substantial time saving, and the project closeout will happen very, very fast. Now the benefits already have spoken: improved accuracy and pipeline traceability. Mostly earlier what used to happen, suppose a pipe is cut into two different measurement, we are unaware of the left out pipe where it is lying and accountability of that piece. So each and every pipe is traceable and accurate, and the location of the pipe is accurate. With the current GPS GPS, high accuracy GPS, which has been provided to us, currently it gives us accuracy of 50 to 60 centimeter, and later on can be upgraded to 120 centimeter. So suppose if I want to open out a welding joint in a later stage for maintenance, only I have to dig a trench of only 500 mm to 600 mm, which is very, very. So my tracing asset in future gets reduced substantially. Again, second most major benefit, manual system takes a lot of time for getting a report preparation and converting those reports to a pipe book format. So now in our case, unless the pipe book up to lowering is up to the coating level is trenching and coating level is ready, no pipeline lowering activity will happen. This is the Bible as far as pipeline is concerned. So unless your pipe book is ready, your further activity is getting hindered. Now in the current system, it is really we know when the pipeline will be getting lowered by looking at the system, and that is a substantial reduction in project timeline also. Second most important, freedom from the manual voluminous data maintaining. Now you have collected so many manual data, maintaining and keeping those data is a very, very troublesome process, because it will occupy a space, and future tracing, you have to find out some of the data from the manual system, from the hard copies, is really, really problematic. So digital data, which is, since it is available, and these data which are finally captured, getting transferred to our server through our ArcGIS system, finding the data is really seamless. Since barcoding is there, all details of pipe data is available. Just by scanning, you are getting the data into the system seamlessly. Then seamless inventory management, of course, because you know where all your asset is lying during. So this gives us on a real-time basis, and we can easily manage the inventory which is lying in the open field and which are under the custody of the contractor. Now looking at the tablet or the network which has been provided for data entry. So the system is equipped with a battery backup also. So there is no hassle, suppose the battery goes down, because pipeline is laid at a remote place. So, and the work starts morning 7 o'clock and continues up to 7 o'clock in the evening. So that is a 12 hours working happens there. So entire field equipments has to be there, and continuous data entry. It may happen that power, there will be shortage of power battery available in the system, and they have provided with additional battery backup, which generally sustains this type of work. And once the data is entered and is approved in the field, it seamlessly gets transferred to the server. Suppose there is no mobile network available in the field, because mostly we are working in the remote areas, very likely chances of not getting any mobile network. The system automatically saves the data in the offline mode. Once the system comes into any mobile network and data comes into mobile network, the data automatically gets shifted to the server, and the person sitting at the back office can view the data. And double entry, already I've spoken about it. That is, systems will provide a warning and give us a check about the double entry. And with this system also, we can monitor the welder's performance. It gives us which welder is performing well, what is the percentage of error available, percentage of error or percentage of repair happening due to faulty welding. That also give us a online data, which currently for the manual system are dependent on the contractor. Now it is available seamlessly online in the system. This is a simple format how the pipe book is getting generated. This is basically, if you see, for a pipeline project, for a pipeline asset, it is the Bible. It contains all the basic data right from the pipe above and each and every report and length of the pipeline and when the report is generated. And this is substantiated with the new currently with GPS coordinates and time, date. And these are some of the example how the data is getting collected. Screenshot of the software, which we are currently doing for Bina Panki pipeline. It gives us the weld pipe number, pipe joint number, weld number, which is the welder, and all the basic data is available by click of a mouse. And also give the overall asset detail, which is the thickness of the pipeline, what is the pipeline size, what is the material, how many pipelines are there in this stretch, how many assets are there in this stretch, what is the length of this section, everything. As a click of a mouse, the person can see and do the monitoring of the entire construction process. Now, coming to the way forward, this is what we have been doing. Now, we have, during the process while implementing their software, we have seen a capability in their software that they can also give us a solution for operation and maintenance stage. What we actually do after commissioning of the pipeline is cathodically protected to save the pipeline from corrosion. So in that case, we have to take a soil to pipe potential. That is how much current is drawing. From the current, the health of the pipeline is monitored. So every kilometer or at every pipeline crossings, we have installed a test lead points where a person goes and see with a multimeter what is the. So currently this data is monitored by some of our contractor. Every month they collect and manually give us a report. But we are not sure whether all the PSP readings are taken in the field or some of the data are manipulated. So you have to come out of those situation to know how the things are progressing as per our requirement. This data can be similarly digitized by giving a tablet to the person. And once he captures the data will be date and time stamped, and person sitting at the back office can know, yes, this time at this coordinate, this data has been collected. So we are sure of the data which is coming to us. And again, the data will be available in the software, in the server, and from the back office able to know. There is no need that person comes with a manual report and transfer the data to a Excel file and give us. So again, we are not dependent on the contractor by this process. So this is our way forward, which we are planning to implement for all existing pipelines, not only Bina Panki. So this saves a lot of time, and we have, by this we'll have a real-time health of the pipeline available. Now, now this pandemic has taught us to search for a new way of working. When there is already an embargo to reduce the manpower, the people available in the office, it used to be nearly zero during the peak time, but we are able to work on the field. And suppose in the field somebody has to see what is happening, or to approve some of the quality checks. So the software is capable of sending video streams, live video streams, and we can online approve the system sitting at the back office. That saves a lot of time for a person to moving to the field and coming back, because the site is far-flung area. It takes a lot of time to reach to the site and approve the drawings. So by these two things, we are looking forward to explore further, so that in the future, because now these days manpower cost is very high, companies thinking of reduction in manpower. by this methodology, we can help our company as well as digitize that process, and quality checks are not compromised. This is what all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dash and Mr. Lavi, for your time and insights. I think we all gained new perspectives on the value that sophisticated technologies can bring to utility companies now and in the future.